AI in finance isn't coming. It's already here. What exactly is this AI clone, digital mind? What is that? You can go to a website, for example, Massimo.com, and there's a little chat bubble, and I can click it and I can speak to it or type to it, similar to ChatGPT. And it will answer me in Massimo's voice with Massimo's thoughts. What is your time worth? You are probably spending more than an hour a day answering emails that are FAQ, that are questions like that. And if this AI could do it for you at your client's leisure, it's well worth $100. Hello, hello. Welcome back to another episode of Advisor Tech Trends. You have Massimo here, and it's been a little while. Just had my first child. That's a bit of a party. Took a couple weeks off, but I'm back. And honestly, some fun stuff has come out since I left. I've met a number of advisors using it. And in today's episode, what I want to talk about is AI clones. Not literal robot clones, but clones of your thoughts or your ideas or your preferences in a digital world. And so essentially it's an AI version of yourself that your clients can talk to 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So as always, please like, comment, subscribe. I love hearing from you guys, and let's get into it. Okay, so AI clones, digital mind sounds super scary maybe as a new advisor or as an advisor in general. You're like, what the heck is he talking about? Well, here are some stats to kind of get you in the right headspace. So around 13% of Canadians are interested and using AI to get services in the past year. So it's not a huge percentage, 13% or 12.5%. But compared to last year, it was 6%. And so more and more Canadians are looking for ways to gather information or have services given to them through AI. And in finance and insurance specifically, which is what probably all you guys are in, the adoption is way higher. It's like 30%. So here's the reality. AI in finance isn't coming. It's already here. And a third of firms are already using it. And if your clients see that you're not, they're going to notice. And so what exactly is this AI clone, digital mind? What is that? So think of it like this, and I've interacted with a number of them. You can go to a website, for example, Massimo.com, and there's a little chat bubble, and I can click it and I can speak to it or type to it, similar to ChatGPT. And it will answer me in Massimo's voice with Massimo's thoughts. And so you may think, okay, how is that done? So essentially what you do is you ingest or give it your blogs, your podcasts, your videos, a bunch of Q&A. The more info you give it about your thoughts and ideas and opinions, the better. And it builds a model around you. And so there's multiple channels you can interact with. So a lot of them have chats. Like I said, you could type to it, SMS, it can text you. And some of the better ones are allowing you to have voice communication, and it'll actually take my voice and communicate with you, which again, I think is amazing. And just to give you kind of an idea here, it allows you to offer client service any time of the day. And so I'll talk about some of the use cases in a little bit, but I'm actually going to talk a little bit about like how it works, how you pay for it. It's not a fortune. So the monetization of it, some platforms let you do it for free. It's very rare. Some or most are premium, and they're usually a flat fee for a certain amount of communication. And like I said, 31% of advisory firms or financial advisors, insurance, et cetera, are trying stuff like this. And so imagine this. It's a version of you that never sleeps, never takes a vacation, and can scale to thousands or hundreds, whatever you want, of clients at once. So all kinds of clients can be asking you questions. And so let's think of some of these use cases that might be interesting. And then I'll talk about some of my favorite apps and we'll go through it. So lead qualification, right? You can filter prospects out before you speak to them. So if you're an advisor that only deals with doctors or only does group benefits or whatever, they can communicate with that chat. They could say, hey, I need X and Y. And your chat can be smart enough to either verbally or through text say, you know what, we're not a fit, but you should check out this. And have you thought about maybe that? Right? And so it can push people away or it can qualify them to work with you. And both are extremely valuable. The next one is FAQ. This one's probably the most relevant, the most obvious. But think about things like this, like onboarding new clients. If they have questions about when they're going to get certain information from you, what's next, etc. Or the fun one, RSP season, TFSA season. What's the difference? You probably get that all the time. You probably also get, should I have both? Should I have one or the other? Should I max it out? And so you can actually train the AI what RSP rules are, what your opinion is on it, and it will actually regurgitate that. But as all these LLMs or language models, they're smart too, right? And so most of these platforms are built on top of a very large model like ChatGPT. So they've taken everything ChatGPT has, which is basically all of the internet, and then they've tailored it to allow your data in as well, and then it merges them. And so your AI replica already knows what an RSP is. It already knows what a TFSA is. Now it wants your opinion and your voice to explain it. But can you imagine how many times clients have asked you that stuff and you're constantly repeating it? It'll do it for you. Content. Let's say people are always asking for your blogs or asking you questions that you've said in blogs and you're like, check out my YouTube or whatever. A lot of that can be done for you. You can, and some advisors are doing this, and I am seeing examples. One of them in question that I've worked with does this, where you can say to clients, listen, if you want me 24 hours a day, it's not me, but it's 80% me. You have to pay $50 a month. And so you can actually monetize this and make money off of it. It's definitely not the most common method, but it is becoming more popular. And so those are like the big ones. And in my head, the biggest are FAQ, lead automation. Those two, now you can take a lot of the operations that you're spending time and effort on and reduce them, right? And so there's huge value in that. And at the end of the day, these clones don't replace the advisor. They replace the midnight Google search your clients would do otherwise, or the 5 emails they send you at 2 a.m. all confused. Like that's what it solves. And that's a part of your business that you're spending time on. Clients aren't getting answers quickly because it's at weird hours. So you can very decisively help there. So, okay, what are some of the tools you could buy, right? So at least my favorite, and a lot of our clients, or this is the one I'm seeing the most out there, is called Delphi. So DELPHI.ai. And so, like I said, it inputs or ingests multiple data sources. And so you could put blogs, you could put video, you could put audio, you could record yourself, you could put photos of yourself, etc. It's not the cheapest out there. So it has a free plan that is very limited, but you can try it out and you can load up a bunch of data. It then goes up to $79 a month. And then it can go to $349 a month if you want the enterprise version, which has like integrations and team settings and things like that. So in your head, budget under $100 a month, and you could get everything I just went through. You probably don't need to go to the $350 a month. Now, that may seem like a lot, but when you think about it, what is your time worth? You are probably spending more than an hour a day answering emails that are FAQ, that are questions like that. And if this AI could do it for you at your client's leisure, it's well worth the $100. In the lead qualification area, again, well worth it. So I'm not going to sell it for you, but that just gets your mind thinking about the ROI of it. So like I said, it offloads FAQs. It repurposes your existing content, keeps your brand consistent and your voice consistent because it takes your voice and uses it. Now, there's obviously some downsides or some risks with it. So you're constantly having to put content updates. Now, that really goes for anything, right? Like every time you're writing an email answering a new question, you should probably be putting that answer in your content, right? It can hallucinate. And so for those of you that don't know, all of these LLMs operate through probabilities. So when you ask it a question, it looks at previous answers and says, well, I'm 80% sure he's asking this. And I'm 90% sure that's the answer. And so that's why sometimes these models can be wrong and be very confidently wrong. And so you got to be careful with that. Now, you can tailor it better by having more data to give it, more edge cases, so it doesn't have to use probability or as much risk, I guess you could say. And obviously, there are some compliance concerns. So it may stray into the area of regulated advice. And so I'm seeing a lot of advisors be very careful with that. If there are questions about, can I invest $5,000 into X or Y? It kind of says, listen, I am just an AI on this. I do recommend having a TFSA for X, Y, and Z. But if you want to actually invest and talk about certain portfolio strategies, you should reach out to me. So you got to be careful there. But again, probably pretty obvious. But I have seen things on Reddit and other areas that people have gotten in trouble just because their AI gave advice, the client claims it. So put your disclaimers, but the benefit is still massive. And so it's kind of like cloning yourself, but it's really only as smart as the content you feed it, right? And so those are the things. Don't expect if you jump into Delphi or any of these other tools that they're just going to solve all your problems. You do really have to beef them up in a very organized manner. There's all kinds of ways to give it data in a very organized way so that it can index it and find the answers and learn from the answers. If you just give it a Word document with no title headers and no way around it, it's not going to work very well. Okay. So if you're in this market, there are a number of other competitors. So Replica is another one. It's definitely a more cheaper option. It might be one. It's Replica with a K. Might always be spelled with a K. I'm not a great speller, but it's roughly $8 a month. It's more for personal use, less business. So it's kind of got more of a fun vibe, but you could try it out. There's also personal.ai. It's kind of like your twin, they market it as, and you can make twins of all your teammates. Lumo, $13 a month. It's very privacy focused. It's a chatbot. So, I mean, you take a look at all of them. Delphi is definitely the most heavily used. Like I see guys like Tony Robbins and others using it. The trade-off is there's some low-cost tools, right? Easy experiments. The high-cost tools, you get branding and integration. So you can start slow. I mean, the thing to keep in mind is you should probably choose your horse as early as possible, just because you do have to load up a bunch of information into it. And so you don't want to do that more than once. I personally like Delphi, but I mean, check it out. It's hugely, hugely beneficial. And so I do want to talk a little bit about the risks. I did mention some of them, but in general, there is some pushback. Advice versus education. You got to stay compliant in Canada. So you really want to walk that line on what you're giving. Is it advice or is it just education? And people are going towards the latter. Accuracy, it can hallucinate, as I said. So the better data you give it, the better it will react. And there are some walls that we're running up to with people in Canada. So I have a stat here, 68% of middle income Canadians say they're not interested in AI for personal finance. And I really think that will go down. But you got to keep that in mind that although this is a tool that is neat, very beneficial, will help you, I don't have any doubt, there still will be a number of clients who don't click on it, at least for the next year or two. But if you want to be ahead of the curve and you want to be learning where things are going, I'd recommend it. And so most Canadians don't really trust AI to manage their money yet, which is fine. But just keep in mind that your clone needs some disclaimers, right? And if you do that, I think it's a great educational resource. It makes you look cutting edge. You can even use it with your team, right? I forgot to mention that, but a lot of people are using it as an internal training tool. So when you have a new team member come on and say, should I recommend a TFSA to this client? You probably get that question and it can answer it, right? So what I would recommend, try a pilot, build a clone, narrow use case, RSP versus TFSA FAQ. See how it does. You will be impressed. Test it with a colleague or a client. Probably a colleague's better, but if you're not a large team, start with a client and spot any hallucinations or weird edge cases. And when you do, beef it up, like add some content there. And then evaluate the ROI. Is it saving you time? Is it generating leads? What I see a lot of people do is they put it on their website as like a floating chatbot. They also put it in their email. If you have questions, click here and I'll answer them. And so those are two kind of call to actions that you can use to get people to interact with you. But really don't push this out to everyone until you've proven value for multiple days, maybe weeks of use, okay? Start small, test hard, and remember that an AI clone is only as good as the human behind it, right? So make sure that you put information in these clones. So that's all I wanted to go through today. Check these out. Delphi is my favorite. You'll be able to find it once you Google it. Honestly, a really cool way to provide value to your clients. As always, please like, comment, subscribe. It's great hearing from you guys and enjoy the rest of your day.